Hello and welcome to Healthline Information Systems demonstration of our HealthEPix picture management system. HealthEPix is a workflow-based application that allows you to import, classify, annotate, and archive image data from practically any source. When you use HealthEPix, you can eliminate the shoebox method of picture filing in favor of a centralized, secure index data store that can be integrated with your hospital or practice management system. Like all of our applications, HealthEPix is highly configurable. The screens you see can all be tailored to show and capture only the data you want. In addition, HealthEPix has a built-in forms tool that you can use to document the pictures that you have taken. The forms, like the application screens, are customized to your site. HealthEPix is a general-purpose picture import utility and, as such, can get images from several different sources. It can get images from disk, as in the case where you saved images from a camera or other source to a PC. It can also get pictures directly off of a camera, and it can control a web camera to take and import pictures simultaneously. Using a webcam is particularly useful in the healthcare environment because it means you never store the pictures for more than a few seconds on any PC, and they are deleted immediately afterward. This eliminates the possibility of the photos being seen by unauthorized individuals. A webcam offers another advantage, the ability to take pictures in a hands-free mode. For example, a nurse performing wound care treatment might need to use both hands to assist a patient into a position where the wound could be seen, such as a patient with a pressure ulcer on his back. Using a gooseneck-mounted webcam, the nurse could help the patient into position while HealthEPix takes a series of pictures. HealthEPix is suitable for a range of applications. For wound care, wounds can be documented over multiple visits, then compared to track healing progress. Dermatology benefits for the same reason. Pathology, lab, or any application of microscopy can benefit hugely by documenting images of microscope slides for both reference and training purposes. Colposcope images are especially useful in the case of sexual assault victims. Endoscopy, in general, benefits from having images captured during the exam, as does colonoscopy in particular. This demonstration will use wound care as an example. We'll start by logging into our workflow. The usernames and passwords can be validated against your Active Directory, if you wish. The first screen the user sees after logging in is his view of the workflow. The left-hand pane shows work lists that the user can access. This particular user sees only the import images work list in the wound care department. Keep in mind that the names are configurable, and these names are for demonstration use only. HealthEPix can operate in two basic modes. Batch mode, in which there is no work list and the user simply picks a user from the patient census, and work list mode, in which an order is placed and the user picks the patient from the work list. This example is using batch mode, and so our work list, the right-hand side of the screen, is empty. I'll click the Import Images button to start HealthEPix. HealthEPix remembers the last disk folder that you were working in and gives you the opportunity to select that folder. Any images in the folder are immediately loaded into the program for processing. In batch mode, the way this demonstration is running, I next need to tell HealthEPix who the patient is. Our workflow maintains a patient census that is populated via an HL7 interface or via a report that is printed from your hospital system to a virtual printer. I will enter the first few characters of my patient's name and click OK. All the patients whose name matches the value I entered are brought up. In this case, there's only one, so I'll double-click that patient to start the image import process. The first thing HealthEPix does is look to see if there is archived history for the patient, and if there is, it retrieves the archived information. This allows me to import new pictures of a wound for which the patient had previously been treated. Using history in this way, we can track wound progression over time. Now we're seeing the full HealthEPix screen. The first thing you notice is the help text. HealthEPix maintains context-sensitive help, so whenever you do anything, such as click in a field, the help text changes to reflect what actions can be taken at that field. For example, if I click the Envelope Items pane in the upper left-hand corner, the text changes to tell me that I might be able to change some of those values. Similarly, the History pane below that, and the Image Classification pane below that, and the Images to be Classified pane at the bottom. The bottom pane contains the images to be classified. I can click on one and start the image import and classification progress, and the full picture is displayed in the New tab pane over the help text. Note that the Help is still there in its own tab. I can click Help in the current image to toggle back and forth. The images we've made for this demonstration are obviously fake wound pictures. We didn't want to use actual pictures for reasons of patient confidentiality, and we wanted something to demonstrate different tissue types and wound sizes. That's why the images look a little peculiar. Classification is the term we use to indicate that a description of the image has been made. In the lower left-hand corner of the screen is the image classification pane. The items you see in that pane are, of course, configurable. The sample we're showing now is made up of location and wound type categories. Using this type of information, you can describe both the physical location of the wound and the type, severity, etc. Configuring this to show the values you want takes just a few minutes. In addition to the checkboxes, there's a drop list that allows you to indicate that the image is the same as one that has already been classified. For example, if I click in the History pane, I can view images for this patient from past visits. We always maintain the original picture along with any annotations to the pictures. In addition, you'll note that there are measurements from previous images. I'll cover annotations and measurements in a bit. When I view a historical image, the image classification checkbox adds that image to the drop list. So if this patient is returning for treatment of the same wound as, say, last week, I can choose the drop list item that indicates the wound is the same as that one. This is useful later because we can use the measurements to graph wound progress, which we'll discuss in a minute. HealthEPix allows you to annotate the current image with a number of different tools. For example, I can apply a stamp with a predefined literal. Part of our configuration process is to set up whatever literals you want. I'll choose one and then click and drag the mouse to define the area where I want the stamp to appear. There are too many annotation tools to cover in this demonstration, but the measurement tool is the star of the show. When you click the measurement tool, a message box tells you that you must provide calibration information to ensure accuracy. In all other wound measurement software, you simply click and drag along a ruler and then type in the length of the line you drew along the ruler. We support that method, but it's not very accurate because any measurements you make anywhere other than right on the ruler are distorted by focal plane skew. We provide 3 other methods of calibration. I'm only going to discuss the most accurate method, the HealthEPix ruler. The HealthEPix ruler is a ruler with 4 dots on it, as you see in the picture. To calibrate, simply click the 4 dots in any order. Any measurements you then make anywhere in the image will be very accurate. In addition, the polygon annotation tool uses the calibration to compute areas. So, for example, if I look at the historical image, I can see that there are 3 different tissue types highlighted: necrotic, granulated, and epithelial. Since my patient is returning for treatment of the same wound, I'll measure those same areas. I'll click the polygon annotation, then select granulated, and click points around the granulated tissue. A double click closes the polygon. Then I repeat the process for the epithelial area. And the necrotic area. The program automatically computes the area. To see it, I click the View Measurements toolbar button. Now you'll see these 3 tissue types, their area, and how much of the total each one is. I can compare this to the previous measurements by clicking that tab. When I've finished with any annotations, I click the Classify button in the toolbar. This causes the thumbnail to change from current to classified. However, nothing is complete until I click the Save button. So if for any reason I decide that I don't like the work I've done, I can discard my changes or simply exit the program without saving to start over. In addition to annotations and measurements, I can select a form to further document information about the images I'm working with. I can recall the image I just annotated by once again clicking its thumbnail. Then I can click the Forms button and the program will ask what form I want to fill out. Remember that the forms, if any, are customized. They include the information you want, not somebody else's idea of what you want. If I click the wound care evaluation, you'll see that I'm working at Death Valley Hospital, and the form is partially filled in with the patient's name and the evaluation date. We can fill in additional information from the patient census or the work list item if there is one. Note that this particular form has a place to indicate where the wound is. I can click on this location indicator and a red dot appears. That will be shown anytime the form is displayed and is useful for marking the location of the wound on the patient. If I don't want to have a separate form, but I do want to use this location marking capability, I can go back to the current image and click the Location Stamp toolbar button. The program will ask me if I want to discard the form completely. If I answer yes, the form will be discarded. I'll answer no to keep the form in this case. In either case, the small image of the wound locator appears on the current image, and I can resize it and move it around. This becomes an annotation, just like stamps, measurements, etc. After I classify an image, I can do another one for this same patient. It might be another picture of the same wound, or it might be a new picture of a separate wound. There's no limit to the number of pictures I can process for a patient. When I'm all done, I click the Save button, and since the program is in batch mode, it starts over with a prompt for the next patient name. In the background, our workflow is archiving the images and associated forms and measurements, and notifying your hospital system. This notification can be used to trigger billing, perform scheduling of the next visit, and so forth. The images can then be called up by your hospital system for viewing. Your hospital system can launch one of our viewers to view the images that you've processed. I'm going to manually launch one of our viewers and pull up the patient we just processed. This viewer shows all the documents we have archived for this patient. You'll note the patient has cardiology stress test, an EKG, a Holter report, and our wound pictures. I can click and drag to zoom in. The system knows about the measurements that were made and provides the ability to graph those numbers, giving us a trend of the wound healing process. Over 2 visits, this patient appears to be doing well. That's a quick tour of HealthEPix. Remember that it's not just for wound care. If you've got pictures you need to organize and have viewable from your hospital or practice management system, this application can help. If you would like a more complete web demonstration or have other questions, please contact us at healthlineis.com. Thank you.